that one more time. Again, so if you're in Hamilton, we're talking 12:30, so another basically half hour right now. So if you're in Hamilton, just make sure that you are in shelter, and of course in the lowest level of your house, in a basement if you have it. Most of us don't, but if you do, that's where you want to be. But an interior room, lowest floor of your house, and away from any windows, of course, as this storm tracks towards you. So again, potentially a brief spin-up tornado located within this storm right along Highway 36, southeast of Gustine, right along the county line, tracking towards Hamilton right now, and again would be there in the next half hour. So again, make sure that you are in shelter in that area. So as we zoom back out, again, that is the area of tornadic concern. But again, the storm tracking towards Temple, we can't forget about this one here, because again, showing signs again of strengthening right now, picking up a pocket of instability somewhere there in parts of Bell County, and could be again kicking out winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, and that 1 inch, that quarter-sized hail. So a very strong storm there, and again tracking down Highway 36. In fact, both storms that we're talking about right now tracking down different parts of Highway 36. This one in Bell County, the other obviously in Comanche County, moving into Hamilton County. Core of this storm has strengthened a little bit. We're up to potentially radar indicated 1.3, so $half sized hail potentially within this storm as it continues to track down 36 through Bell County. So if you're in Temple, obviously we're getting later and later. Most people are getting in their homes anyway, in bed, things like that. Just make sure that you're away from any windows, because again, when you're talking $half sized hail, it can definitely come through the window. Can also damage roofs, also damage your car as well. So if you haven't already, and you have the ability to do so, if you're in Temple, I would absolutely advise pulling your car into the garage at this time. So we now have 2 tornado signatures on the storm back to our northwest, one for Mills County, one for Hamilton County. So again, seeing a little bit of, so this is what we would typically kind of call a tail end Charlie. Once you get close to the edges of these systems, you can get a little bit of spin there, you get a little bit of that wind shear, and that's where these potential spin-ups come from. So with these storms, right now the one moving towards Goldthwaite, we're going to take a look at that one. And again, the rotation within this storm, again, hail also a concern there, potentially up to $half sized hail within that storm as well. A little bit, going to be a little bit trickier with this storm simply because of its location. It's unfortunately not located anywhere really near any of our radar sites that we can use very easily here. But again, we'd be looking in this general vicinity right around 183. We're seeing some of those strongest winds there for any rotational signatures. Let me try one thing real quick. All right, so there you go. So if we're looking at this potentially here along the county line there up towards Democrat, maybe down towards Democrat there. So again, in this general vicinity, right along just potentially to the northeast of Highway 183. That's where we'd be looking for that signature in that storm right now. As far as the other storm, that one continues to be a concern as well. This one a little bit easier to kind of get a hold of here inside the storm. Again, we'll be looking right along the county line right now with this storm. For this one, we're going to go back to our Fort Worth radar. And again, you're seeing kind of right there, right along 36, right along the county line still. So again, not showing necessarily as tight as it was before, but definitely still something to be concerned with there if you're along Highway 36, especially as it heads off towards Hamilton over the next 30 minutes. All right, so to recap, across central Texas right now we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Bell County for a storm that is capable of up to $half sized hail, and back towards Mills County and Hamilton counties. We have 2 potential spin-ups within this storm complex, potentially bringing tornadic activity to parts of, right now we'd be looking at Democrat and Lambkin, moving though towards Mullen and Goldthwaite, moving towards Hamilton at this time. And both these storms moving at about 20 miles per hour. That would put, and again, if we kind of track the area of the storm there that we're seeing some of that concern, take it into Bozar by about 12:37, and then this storm back here would take it into Hamilton right around 12:30. So as we've been saying all along, is 12:30 we'll be looking at Hamilton for that storm. For this storm over here, again, moving towards Mullen, would likely not be there for at least another half hour or so. So that is our recap. What we're going to do now is we're going to change our view just a little bit. We're going to take a look at, see if we can find these rotation signatures a little bit better. And to do that, we're going to turn on our velocity scans real quick. All right, so in these two storms, right now, so this storm back towards Hamilton County, we'd be looking in this general vicinity right here. Again, anytime you see those greens and reds coming together. Again, this one back here, a little bit more nebulous there just because of its location. Again, not seeing, it's right on the edge of the range of some of our radar sites here, unfortunately. But again, we'd be looking generally there, right around Democrat. So if you're in Democrat, you definitely need to be in your shelter spot, whether that's the lowest room of your house, interior of your house, away from all windows. Obviously put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible with these situations. These storms moving at about 20 miles per hour would put them in Mullen and Hamilton by about 12:30. So if you're in those areas, obviously you definitely want to be in shelter as well as these storms continue tracking towards your location. The storm in Bell County, we're going to go back and take a look at again because it does continue to strengthen. It did show some signs of weakening at times. However, now we are seeing it kind of ramp back up a little bit. It just has been a meandering storm throughout the night. Again, back towards the east a little bit, but now definitely back towards the southeast, tracking again down Highway 36 towards Temple. Right now, the edge of that hail core kind of moving in towards the 317-36 junction there, again, just to the northwest of the airport. So if you're in West Temple, obviously the storm moving towards you fairly quickly here. Not terribly quickly, only about 10 miles per hour, but we'll be on areas in West Temple there in the next, say, 10 to 15 minutes. Hail core, again, strengthening again, potentially, according to our radar here. Radar estimate showing it up to about 1.5 inches, so potentially ping pong ball-sized hail within this storm, and still right around Jubilee Springs, but tracking southeast along Highway 36. Again, doing so very slowly at about 10 miles per hour. With the storms back to the west, again, we have the two tornado warnings, one just to the south of Democrat, one just along the county line there between Comanche and Hamilton counties. These storms, again, potentially can produce spin-ups. The other problem, though, if you're in Democrat, again, you need to be in your shelter anyway, but this storm showing an even larger hail core than what we're seeing down in Bell County, as we're seeing hail potentially up to, let's see, let's take I bet it's going to be right around 1.6, 1.7. Right around 2 inches, as a matter of fact. So again, that would be egg-sized hail if that verifies. Again, that's our radar estimate, 2-inch hail there, falling right over Democrat. But again, the tornadic portions of these storms, potentially, that we're seeing here, and again, nothing confirmed as of yet, but over the next half hour would make it into Bozar, and then the storm over in Hamilton County over the next, say, 40 minutes into Hamilton by about 12:30, maybe a little bit after. So again, anywhere within these zones of these warnings, you obviously need to be in your shelter. That's going to be lowest floor of your house, away from windows, and obviously in the centermost part of your house that is available to you. So that's an overall look at what's going on. Again, 2 tornado warnings, one for Hamilton County, one for Mills County. Storms tracking towards Hamilton, tracking towards Goldthwaite at this time. Again, some towns that are in the paths of these storms would be Bozar, would be Mullen, Hamilton, obviously, and then Goldthwaite a little bit after that. And let's see, so the tornado warning for Mills County in effect until 12:45. As of midnight, the potential rotation was just north of Democrat. So again, if you're in Democrat, obviously still need to be in your safe place as the storm is still moving over your area. But if you're in Mullen, if you're in Goldthwaite, if you're in Bozar, you need to be in your safe places there as well. For the storm in Hamilton County, do want to take a look at that one again. Again, that's going to be in effect until 12:30. And once again, we're looking at Gentry's Mill, Lambkin. Those would be areas that you need to be in your safe place as well. And again, this one only moving in southeast at about 10 miles per hour. So again, seeing some slower motion in that storm as well. But again, if we want to look for the rotation within these storms, again, it's going to be a little bit messy. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, just because Again, we're dealing with storms that are sort of between our radars. So that's why we're not giving you pinpoint locations or anything like that, just saying you definitely need to be in your safe space if you're in Democrat, if you're in Mullen, if you're in Bozar, if you're in Gentry's Mill, if you're in Lambkin, if you're in Hamilton, this storm moving your direction as well. Obviously, it's still a little bit further away from Hamilton, but moving closer as we speak. So let me see what I can do to sort of clean this up a little bit. All right, so getting a little bit better image here. So again, we'd be looking at an area right along the county line there between Comanche County and Hamilton County. Back here, again, maybe just north of Democrat, right over Democrat. So again, if you're in Democrat, you still need to be in your safe space, still need to be there, still need to be waiting this out because this storm is not moving terribly quickly. So you're going to want to maintain that your safe location for the next several minutes until the storm passes for sure. So again, that's where we're seeing that potential for some rotation there on that storm. And again, both storms, again, let me see if I can switch to a cleaner image here. All right, so that's going to be a little bit better for us for the Mills County storm. So again, that's going to be right over the county line. So that's right where Democrat is. So as I've been saying all along, if you're in Democrat, you definitely need to be maintaining your safe space. If you're in the path of this storm over here, say Gentry's Mill, down towards Hamilton there, again, that's right along Highway 36. So that's where we're still seeing that rotation, so that's where you need to be there. I'm going to step off for 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see if we have any confirmation of anything out of either of these storms from our spotters, and then we'll jump back in. Let's see. Not seeing anything there in terms of whether or not we have any sort of confirmation. Again, just seeing that radar indicated rotation with both of these storms right now. And as a matter of fact, you can kind of see there's maybe a little bit of broader rotation back towards a meridian at this time. Nothing of primary concern here, but definitely something to watch there as along this line of thunderstorms, we're continuing to see potential areas of rotation pop up along the cold front here. And again, that can happen sometimes when you have highly sheared environments. That's where the winds change direction with height. And again, you get close to the end of these line segments, and that's where we kind of see, again, sometimes we call them tail end Charlies as they start to develop there right along the tail end of these lines of storms. So again, right now we're looking at basically right over Democrat and right over the county line there from Comanche to Hamilton right now as well. So that's where these two areas of rotation are. Both areas also capable of quarter-sized hail as well. You can see the hail core a little bit deeper there moving towards Mills County, but that's another concern as well. As we sit here and talk about tornadoes, we also have to talk about the hail threat that's within these storms as it is continuing to provide some issues as well. Do want to take a look at the Bell County storm. Again, this storm is simply not moving very quickly, and that's been a concern for us all night. Is if it's over your area, obviously you're going to see a lot of rain because it's not moving very quickly. So it's going to, the areas that produce the heavy rain, the longer that obviously they sit over any given area, the more it's going to rain. Obviously, the area where we're seeing the hail, the longer it's over a given area, the longer it's going to hail, and so obviously that can lead to more damage with these storms as well. With this storm right over Highway 36, finally seeing that hail core move off of Jubilee Springs a little bit, 1.1, so it has come down just a little bit in the last few scans. This storm has a history of really pulsing up and down pretty significantly, as we've seen as small as, nickel-sized hail. We've seen as large as ping pong ball-sized hail with that storm. But again, it just has not made a whole lot of forward progress. It seems like it's trying to at this time, but again, let's see here, moving at about 10 miles per hour. Yeah, it's still moving at about 10. So this warning still in effect until 1:15 here for this storm as it continues to track towards Temple, potentially towards Troy as well there, as again, it is meandering. It's not necessarily, we can't say for, it's moving southeast and has any sort of consistent motion to it. All right, I just lost my monitor on this computer. There it goes. All right. So again, the tornado warnings that we're still talking about, still in effect. If you're in Democrat, if you're in Mullen, if you're in Gozer, if you're in Goldthwaite, storm heading your direction. Back here in Hamilton County, if you're in basically Hamilton, if you're anywhere along Highway 36 though, they're northwest of Hamilton, that's where we're seeing some concerns within the storm of some potential rotation. Again, radar indicated no spotter confirmations of anything at this time, but if we're seeing any rotation, again, it's now moving across the county line and kind of staying just to the east, just to the west, southwest there of Highway 36 as it moves off to the southeast. So again, if you're in Hamilton, know that the storm is potentially moving in your general direction. Could skip just a little bit to the west, but obviously you need to be prepared for that as it potentially comes through your town as well. Back to the west, again, we take another look inside the storm here in Mills County. And I think we had a little bit better luck with our other radar just a second ago in terms of trying to pinpoint here. And again, it's going to be in this general region right around Democrat, just to the south of the county line there. Again, moving at about 20 miles per hour to the south-southeast. So if you're anywhere in this line of Democrat, say down to Mullen and then down to Goldthwaite, you need to be prepared for this storm as it continues to travel towards your area. Again, when I say be prepared, it means we need to be in a home or in a sturdy structure, and we need to be away from any exterior walls, obviously in the middlemost part of the building that you can be in. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued from Hill County back towards Bosque County. Again, you're starting to see a little bit of that bow echo in these storms that would indicate some stronger winds. So that is also a concern. Even if it's not rotating, obviously we've been talking about the 2 tornado warnings for Hamilton and Mills counties, but even if it's not rotating, winds of 60, 70 miles per hour can be damaging. And so you need to be prepared that these are on their way into, say, Hillsborough, Meridian, probably already experiencing that. Hamilton, the winds, even without the rotating portion of the thunderstorm, that is a concern there as well with those very strong winds. It looks like, all right, so they have taken the tornado warning off of the storm in Hamilton County, so indicating that we were like, when we were showing you just a second ago the velocity scans, we were having trouble finding those areas of rotation. And again, that's likely why, as they were weakening there, that's why we couldn't see them quite as well. The storm in Mills County, though, the tornado warning continues here, and as we take another look at it, if I'm looking for an area of rotation, it's still right around Democrat, that area. So we switch radars, maybe dipping a little bit south of Democrat at this point. Let's try, just kind of cycling through our radars here. So this one actually, out of Austin, maybe gives us our best view of it. So perhaps south of Democrat right now. But with that being said, if you're in Democrat, again, maintain your shelter in place for right now as the storm continues to move through. Give it several more minutes, because these storms, again, not moving very quickly, so I wouldn't expect it to make much forward progress very quickly. But again, that area of rotation potentially there now south of Democrat. The problem is it's a little bit harder to pinpoint, although as I look at Fort Worth and I look at Austin, our 2 radar sites there, they are attempting to tell the same story. Same thing with our Colleen radar now. And so yeah, so likely we're looking at that area of rotation that would be south of Democrat at this point. But again, I would maintain that shelter in place for at least several more minutes there if you're in Democrat. But again, the storm moving off to the south-southeast. So again, moving towards Goldthwaite, moving towards Mullen as well. So a couple of locations still in the path of the storm. In fact, if you're in Mullen, likely the area of concern over that area right now. And again, looking back towards Meridian, maybe potentially a little bit of broad rotation trying to develop there as well. So again, worth keeping an eye on. Nothing there of immediate concern. Again, of immediate concern is going to be the storm moving towards Goldthwaite at this time. So we have the rotating potential rotating winds. Obviously, the tornado, that potential tornado, nothing confirmed there. But the other concern continues to be hail, as you can see, up to basically $half sized hail in this storm just over the Mills County line. So very large hail. Obviously, potential tornadic activity, and regardless of tornadic activity, straight line winds also a concern. So a very strong storm moving into Mills County right now, just across the county line. Not moving very quickly, and that's been the case with a lot of these storms tonight. Basically moving at this point due south. So with that in mind, again, if you're in Mullen, if you're in Goldthwaite, storm moving your direction for sure. as it continues on its progress here. The good news is once this line of storms, this primary line gets through your area, we're basically done for the night. So if you're in Hamilton, Goldthwaite, Brownwood, hopefully we're not seeing anything confirmed here. Hopefully this continues just to be a potential area of rotation that our radars are picking up on. But as the storm passes, once it's past your location, you're basically done for the night. So the earlier these storms get through, obviously, the better. We don't want to have to deal with this all through the rest of the night. Do want to take a look at the Bell County storm because it's going through one of its little pulsing cycles once again. It was up, now it's back down again as it continues to just kind of sit still over Bell County right now. Forward motion is 10 miles per hour, but it's really just kind of meandering at this point. Again, that hail core is sitting right over 317 and 36 where those two highways come together. I would say that it is losing strength right now, but over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we could see it pop right back up. That's been the case all night long. But for right now, again, the storm moving just south of Democrat towards Mullen right now. It continues to be our storm of primary concern because there are radar still indicating potentially some rotation within this storm. And again, that's going to be just right around Mullen, it appears, based on this particular velocity product that we're showing you right here. So if you're in Mullen, obviously you need to be sheltering. Even if there's no tornado, strong straight line winds, definitely a possibility within this storm. So we continue to watch for that as well. I'm going to change radars real quick. So I think this one gives us our best view. And this is exactly what we're looking at right here, right along Highway 183. That area where those greens and those reds come together, that's going to be the area that we'd be looking at for any potential rotation within this storm. And where we see that, if there was a tornado active with this storm, and again, we don't have confirmation of that, we just have the radar indications, it continues. That's where we would continue to see those issues, is anywhere you see those reds and greens come together. All right, so just to recap again, potentially here, radar indicating a tornado or at least some lower level rotation that could lead to a tornado along 183 there in Mills County, just north of Mullen, moving towards Mullen at this time. The tornado warning for Hamilton County was canceled as that storm, that particular section of the storm kind of lost its organization pretty quickly there. And then if you're in Bell County, this storm showing some signs of weakening there. Again, still hasn't moved very much. I mean, it's moved maybe a mile in the last hour. Again, it's moving at 10 miles per hour, but based on just the meandering nature of this storm, it just hasn't made much forward progress at all. Continuing to monitor all of this activity out there tonight. And again, the good news, the tornado warning for Hamilton County was canceled because, again, that storm is not very well organized anymore. Again, the storm in Bell County does continue to show signs of weakening, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And the other quick update for you is that the severe thunderstorm warning was extended all the way from Mills County, now all the way back through Hill County as well. So this entire line of thunderstorms here capable of producing up to 60-mile-per-hour winds. Pockets of it potentially producing up to 1-inch hail, but primarily a wind threat, as these tend to be when they form these very solid lines. Do want to take another look inside this Mullen storm right now. So if you're in Mullen, again, you need to make sure that you're in your safe place, lowest level of your house, interior room, center of your house, away from any windows, away from any doors. This storm tracking down 183 towards Mullen. Again, if there is going to be tornadic activity in the storm, this is the signature that we're looking for. We see the reds and these greens come together right along Highway 183 right now. This moving off to the south. So if you're in Mullen, obviously moving your direction, again, just make sure that you are maintaining that shelter in place and make sure that you are not leaving your safe room at this time as this storm continues to move through. So let's go ahead and see if we can put a little bit of a track on that at 20 miles per hour. Again, if you're in Mullen, it's basically right on top of you at this point. That's why you're not seeing your name show up on this list. But again, you need to be sheltering in place if you're in Mullen. There is no doubt about that. But Goldthwaite, 12:53, so about another half hour here before the storm gets to Goldthwaite. At about 20 miles per hour, it's going to take a while for these storms to make much forward progress. We've seen that with the Bell County storm for the last basically 2.5 hours. But with this storm here at 20 miles per hour, again, it's going to take a little while to get to Goldthwaite. But if you're in Mullen, storm basically right on top of you and still showing some radar indications potentially of some tornadic rotation within the storm. Although on this last scan, I will say it looks a little bit less organized, which is always good news. It's always what you want to hear. But also potentially seeing some areas pop up there to the east of Democrat that might be showing a little bit of rotation as well. So again, lots we have to look out for here with these storms. So let me step off, let me take a look and see if we have any updates coming out of some of our other products here. Okay, nothing on it as of right now. But again, that tornado warning continuing until 12:45. So by 12:45, you have to think when they draw out these warnings, this is where they kind of expect it to be at that time. So only in the next 20 minutes we'll be making it past Mullen and still not quite to Goldthwaite at that point. So what we'll see here in the next 20 minutes is if this tornado warning is continued. Like I said, on our last check, it did look like potentially some of that rotation was breaking down a little bit, but too soon to make a call on that. In fact, we look in there again, still seeing areas of rotation potentially within this storm. It just doesn't look quite as tight as it did before. But with that being said, again, if you're in Mullen, still need to be sheltering in place. If you're in Goldthwaite, obviously need to be sheltering in place. Again, based on where our radar is trying to pinpoint the area of rotation, it's right around Mullen. So that's the area right now of most concern, but again, continues to move south towards Goldthwaite. So if you're in Goldthwaite, just understand you may be sheltering for a little while, but you need to be in that shelter in place spot right now as the storm continues to track towards you. All right, so just again, a quick recap here as we're looking at multiple thunderstorms across central Texas. The storm in Bell County does appear to be hopefully approaching the end of its life cycle. It is definitely cycling down at this point. Does that mean it couldn't pulse back up? It could, but at this point we've seen a pretty prolonged weakening here over the last, say, 10 minutes or so. Our concern continues to be in Mills County, where this area of potential rotation continues to spin right along 183, right along Mullen, right along the town of Mullen here. So as we take a look here, close enough to kind of get a street map on here, if we're seeing rotation within this storm, I'd like to go back to the other radar that was giving us a little bit better picture. Okay, we'd be looking right along 183, right along County Road 549 there, County Road 521 just to the south of where we'd be seeing this area of rotation. Again, right along 183 basically at this point. So that's where we've been seeing it, and that's where we continue to see it. And again, County Road 549 there potentially in this area of concern as well. As we zoom out, again, you can kind of see it's not necessarily as organized as it was, potentially, but still have some concerns there as you see those greens and reds come together, again, right along 183 there north of Mullen. Okay, and again, no updates on this particular tornado warning at this time, so we continue to kind of visually track it here on this Tuesday night, now Wednesday morning. Again, we're going to see if we can get a better view here from a different radar site. Okay, so again, that's that same general area that we were looking at before. You can see the very strong wind signature here just to the southeast of Mullen, but if we're seeing that rotation, it's going to be right around Mullen. So if you're anywhere in Mullen, obviously you need to be taking shelter from the storm. Again, interior, lowest level of your house is where you need to be right now. All right, recapping one more time. Again, the line of thunderstorms continues to move south out of Comanche County and Erath County into now Hamilton County, Mills County. You can see it has now cleared Meridian for the most part, moving towards Clifton. There is that very pronounced bow in this storm that would indicate some very strong winds. Again, straight line winds. Also a concern here. We've been talking a lot about tornadoes the last 20, 30 minutes, but 60-mile-an-hour winds, really doesn't matter if they're rotating. They can still do damage, so you definitely need to be prepared for that. Again, trying to get a good signature on this storm in Mullen has proven a little bit difficult lately. But let's go ahead and see if we can try again here. Again, it looks like if there's an area of rotation, it is just on the west side of Mullen, potentially moving through town as we speak. So again, I would maintain your shelter in place if you're in Mullen right now as this storm continues to travel across. Again, I'm cycling through different radar sites right now. You can see from our Fort Worth radar, not really showing us much because it's right at the edge. Austin radar has been doing a pretty good job with this storm, but even that's showing a little less organized activity there. Try San Angelo as well. Again, they're all telling basically the same story, and that is if there is rotation within the storm, it is right around Mullen. If not right over town, then definitely very near the town of Mullen right now. And that's where we've been kind of tracking up to this point, and that's where we'll continue to track. Again, moving off to the south, southeast. If you're in Goldthwaite, this storm definitely moving towards you. So you definitely need to be prepared for this in the next, say, 10, 15 minutes or so. I believe our last check, it was about 12:45. We were looking at the storm potentially moving into Goldthwaite. So let's check again. And yeah, okay, so about 12:50 at this point. At 20 miles per hour, the storm would be there in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So by about 12:50. So again, maintain that shelter in place as the storm continues to track towards you. I know half an hour, 40 minutes can be a long time as you're waiting on something like this, but just go ahead and continue to stay in your safe space. And continue to, if you make sure that you have us going on a mobile device. You can have that with you. You have a NOAA weather radio. If you have one of those, having that with you is always going to be a great benefit to you as well. Again, this tornado warning has about 15 minutes left, and we will see what decisions are made here in those next 15 minutes as this storm continues to track southeast through Mills County. Again, stepping off just to take a look. All right, so here is good news for us. I do have a little bit of good news for the first time in a while. It looks like they are going to cancel the severe warning on that Bell County storm. So it has weakened to the point where it's not dropping 1-inch hail. It's not producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds. So with that is a little bit of good news. And you can see the warning has been dropped. And again, the storm continues to weaken. The core of the storm sat really over Jubilee Springs for a very long time there. Again, not making much progress at all. Just gets kind of caught there, right? So it's moving southeast, then it kind of tracks back to the east a little bit, and again, it just kind of sits and spins for a little while there as it kind of increases and decreases in strength. So right now, again, that storm on a weakening trend. You can see that warning has been canceled, but again, the tornado warning for Mills County continues. We continue to kind of look inside this storm for any clues in terms of rotation, where it would be. Right now, again, the last several checks, it's been right around Mullen, and that continues to be, if we're seeing concerns, that continues to be the spot where we'd be seeing it. So if you're in Mullen, continue that shelter posture for another several minutes here as the storm continues to move off to the southeast. Unfortunately, again, just not moving very fast. 20 miles per hour does not move it out of any given area very quickly. I continue to check over here for any updates as well. That's why I keep stepping off screen. But as far as Mullen goes, again, make sure that you maintain your shelter there as the storm continues to track past the area. All right, so let's see if we can get a cleaner view with a different radar site. And it almost looks like a new area of rotation there around 16, Highway 16. It might just be an area of strong winds though. Yeah, I would almost say that the original tornado warning is showing some definite signs of disorganization there. I'd be looking back more towards Pretty there, towards Highway 16 for the potential for some very strong winds within the storm. But that tornado warning, again, that continues for another 11 minutes. And all of this activity will continue to move off to the south. Let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast model here real quick as we continue to talk about these storms. We do expect them to continue for another several hours. And the reason why is all this is going to move from north to south. So again, as I said earlier, once the line clears your neighborhood, you are effectively done for the night. But we have to get there first. Unfortunately, and for our southern counties, it's still going to be a little while longer. So as you head off to bed, just know that these storms are moving your direction and could present some issues through the rest of the night. There's that storm in Temple again, definitely weakening, kind of getting caught in the upper level flow a little bit better. And for some reason, this will not let me load the graphic that I would like to load. Somehow, what is going on? There we go. Somehow it thought I had shift selected and it was trying to select multiple graphics at once. All right, so make some changes to this real quick as it doesn't know what day it is anymore. All right, so again, you can see these storms will continue to move from north to south. As they do so, weakening a little bit into the night there, and by 4 o'clock, we're seeing everything basically out of the area. So, like I said, once you see these storms come through your neighborhood, we are basically done for the night, and that is the good news here. And again, the other bit of good news, of course, is that we do expect a little bit of a weakening trend as they go. For this afternoon, for your Wednesday afternoon, again, a little bit of redevelopment will be possible. I don't expect much in the way of severe weather, but just understand that we could see some storms. But again, the concern continues to be tonight with the severe thunderstorms and now the tornado warning storm moving into and through central Texas. We're going to go back to our radar now so we can kind of keep track of that storm that has the tornado warning on it. Tornado warning still in effect for Mills County there. You can see from Mullen now south down 183. Again, we've been struggling a little bit to find that rotational signature, so we're looking again inside the storm here. We're going to try cycling radars again to try and get a better idea. And again, if we're seeing rotation, again, now we're looking kind of in this general area south of Mullen at this point. But if you're in Mullen, again, just because of the sort of messiness with our radar right now, if you're in Mullen, make sure you're maintaining that shelter posture for at least another several minutes. In Goldthwaite, looks like the core of this rotation might miss just to the west, but that being said, if you're in Goldthwaite, make sure that you are sheltering in place as well. Again, this tornado warning has about 8 more minutes on it, so we're going to see what decisions are made here in the next 8 minutes. But again, tornado warning still in effect for Mills County for until 12:45 here. And so we'll continue to monitor this and track it. Again, if you're in Goldthwaite, this storm, again, the rotation from the storm may miss just to the west, which would be obviously ideal for the folks in Goldthwaite. But again, you need to be prepared that this storm is headed your direction and could be over your area in the next 20 minutes or so. Again, tornado warning for 7 more minutes. Again, I need to go check again for any updates over on this side. Again, when I say checking for updates, what we're really doing is we're seeing if there's any sort of spotter activity, any confirmation of anything being reported, because right now obviously we have our radar to go off of, but obviously better if somebody can confirm that for us. Again, no confirmations of anything. Again, just radar indicated rotation within this storm. All right, so we're going to go back to our velocity product, and we're going to continue to look for those signatures of rotation within this storm. All right, so we're going to switch over to our velocity radar. And again, nothing is necessarily popping out at me. Potentially, though, again, just to the south of Mullen at this point is where I'd be looking. So obviously we have the warning box here, but this storm may be taking a little more of a southerly path here than what the warning box would imply. So again, we continue to watch it. If you're in Goldthwaite, definitely be prepared for this storm as it is continuing to move your direction. But again, that area of rotation may pass just to the west of Goldthwaite as it comes through. But again, the rotation is not the only concern within this storm, as we're still seeing the potential for very large hail, straight line winds as well within this storm. All right, so again, just to kind of recap where we are, tornado warning in effect for Mills County right now, and this storm heading south towards Goldthwaite. Again, potentially at this point south of Mullen, and moving again kind of parallel with Highway 183 towards Goldthwaite at this time. Again, nothing confirmed. We don't have any spotter confirmation on this storm, but we do have radar indications that there is some rotation within this storm as it moves south towards Goldthwaite at this time. And again, a little bit of a hail core within this storm as well. Again, that's showing pretty decent velocity signatures here, again, south of Mullen, again, northwest of Goldthwaite right now. And as we switch over to our hail product, you can see, again, right over Mullen. So that's also a concern there for the folks in Mullen, is potentially up to inch and a quarter hail within this storm as well. So quarter-sized hail, potentially rotation here, and then obviously a wind threat as well. I just want to check for any updates one more time. Okay, so it looks like the tornado warning will be allowed to expire. So again, been over here trying to find these rotational signatures, and one of the reasons why it's been so difficult to find those signatures is because they are weakening, and so that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire on time. But we continue to track all these storms, and here's the deal. Even though as this tornado warning kind of comes to an end, we're going to switch back to our digital platform. So we're going to jump off of the television here. But as we go to our digital platforms, just know that we will continue to have a live stream going all throughout the night on our 6 Plus app, on KCENTV.com, and on our KCEN mobile app as well. So you can catch live updates, obviously live radar there throughout the night as these storms continue to travel across the area. Again, one more time, the tornado warning for Mills County will be allowed to expire because that rotation signature has gotten a lot weaker, which is probably why we had so much trouble finding it when we were looking through our products there. But we'll continue to track, and you can continue to follow us on our digital platforms. Again, 6 Plus, KCEN TV.com, and on the KCEN mobile app. But for now, for our television audience, thanks for joining us. We'll take you back to your programming.